Hi y'all, and welcome to 2026. Can you guys believe that we are in 2026? Oh, that's crazy. I'm sorry if there's background noises. I live in a construction site, essentially. I swear, they are never gonna be done with this mansion across the street, and it's gonna drive me crazy. But I need to film this video, and I wanna film this video, and so we're just gonna deal with it, all right? Okay. So, welcome to 2026. I hope that everybody had a wonderful holiday, a great Christmas, Christmaka, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. I hope it was wonderful. And a wonderful new year. What did you guys do? What was your favorite present that you gifted or you got? And leave me those in the comments below. So, now that we are through Christmas, we're done with Vlogmas, we are here now and we are chatting about 2026 and our plans for 2026. So I thought what I would do is kind of go over a year in review, chit chat, just me and you sitting here, and kind of go over what I accomplished and what I failed at, but you know, whatever, it is what it is. Last year when I sat here, if I can remember correctly, I remember sitting here and saying, I'm gonna do monthly recaps. We're gonna be going over the budget. We're gonna be going through like what we're doing to get debt free. And I was gonna do journaling and we were gonna do planner and all the things. And I'm here to tell you that I did some of those things and some of those things did stick with me and then some did not. And so I am going to chat with you with what my plans are for the future, for this year, and in a realistic way for my brain and my life and what the plan is. What I wanted to chat with you guys today is all about what our plans are for the future, for 2026. So the first thing I wanted to chat about was something that we chatted about a year ago, and that was that we wanted to make steps to pay off debt and la-di-da. And we are doing pretty well. I feel like every time that we gather up the funds to pay off debt, we end up needing it for like an emergency, and that's okay. We're thankful that we have it. But it does feel like every time we make a little step, we come back down. And that's all right, you know, that's okay. But we're gonna just keep going. Last year, our goal was to bring down our grocery budget, and that was very important to us because we knew that that was something that we could attain, and we were really finding that when we would eat out, we weren't enjoying it, you know? So this year, I'm happy to report that we saved a lot of money by budgeting our grocery, changing some habits that we had, which included buying any of the treats out, like coffees or anything, switching to just coffees at home, making sure that we were purchasing a bulk of our groceries from either Aldi, Walmart, or Costco, and really looking at where the most cost-effective, but also the best quality. Yes, things could be cheaper somewhere, but we also still wanted that quality, like in our meats and our veggies and things like that. So I feel like now we are kind of in that rotation, and it really has saved us, I would say at least $1,000, if not $2,000 a month, which is wild. And I will say that we then now have kind of switched to really making sure that when we are eating out, it's like a moment, you know what I mean? And we are, instead of being like, oh, that is what we're gonna do to be convenient, it's more of, hey, what do we have at home that could make it convenient for those kind of nights? Does that make sense? So purchasing things to have in our freezer for those convenient nights rather than running out to Wendy's or Chick-fil-A or any of those kind of places. So that made a big difference, and it still has, and it's just stuck with us. Like now it's just habitual. When I do buy a coffee, like over the holiday, I bought a lot of coffees out, and we were like buying smoothies out because we were with family, and you know how that is. Like you're just out, you want to like do fun little things. And I was like, this is insanely expensive for what it is. And smoothies, like my kids don't even like any of the smoothies out. They just like the smoothies that we make at home. So I will just say that just making those little changes throughout the year really made a difference. And now it doesn't even feel like we it's a big thing that we do or anything. It's just what we do. And yeah, it's kind of just a known thing. Like, we're gonna try to eat at home. And it's a whole conversation that we have with our kids. For instance, we were going to Epic Universe. It was a big present that my dad and my stepmom and myself and Sean gave to the kids for their big Christmas present. And we went, and the weekend leading up to that, we kind of said to the kids, like, we're not going to eat out. We're not going to be going to spend a lot of money because we want to use all those funds for when we're at Epic Universe. And, we of course we ate breakfast at home before we left for Epic Universe. I brought lunch so that we could get sweet treats that they wanted to get. And it's like, my kids are so much more, I don't know, they're checking in with things like, what are the special treats that we have to try at this place, or what are the things that we could do. What are those kind of like things that people do at this place that we want to use our money for. So it's just that conversation having with your kids. I feel like my parents never really had that with me. I never really understood money and I didn't understand any of that. So with my kids, I'm trying really hard, myself and my husband, we're trying very, very hard to give them budgets, help them stick to them, and have that communication back and forth. And it's just fun to watch it. Like, they really wanted to get this Donkey Kong float, and it was $18.99, and they all three were like, that's crazy. But if we just got one and we shared it, then we could get a special thing at each universe, and then, we can try it all. And so it's just those kind of things where you're seeing it happen and you're like, okay, all right, this is cool. So anywho, yeah, that has been really nice. It's just that intentionality where it also makes it more special. You know what I mean? So it's just being smart with the money that you have. So anywho's that has felt really good. And it's fun to see your kids kind of pick up on that, and they're starting to have those kind of thoughts. Like, for instance, they had some spending money for Epic Universe, and it was fun to watch them kind of go through the store, and instead of being like, I want that, and I want that one, I want that one, I want that, they kind of were like, hey, I want to survey what's available, and then maybe could we come back to this store because I kind of want to see, and oh, that seems kind of like a hefty price for what that is. It was just nice to see that communication and that just kind of going through their own heads. And at the end of it, they were very proud of what they chose to purchase. And my daughter didn't even purchase anything because she was like, I don't really want anything. I kind of want to save my money. And I was like, perfect. So anywho, I just say that because it's really easy to get into a mode of just consumerism. We were in it a year ago. And now we kind of are like, okay, what's important to us and what makes the most sense to spend our money on? And, we now do weekly allowances with the kids and all that. So it's like their money and they've earned it. My kids are old enough now to understand that. Of course, there's different levels. I mean, I have a 7-year-old and then a 9-year-old and a 12-year-old. So there are different levels of understanding, and I cater to those. Other thing that we did was we had said a year ago that I wanted to start writing in a journal and doing those things. And I did do that for a while. And then I just found that I didn't fully enjoy it, but I just don't do well with sitting and doing it. I will say that I think most of mine is through meditation and a thought process. So I'm working out the kinks of that, and I'll report back with what I think. But the last couple of months, I've just been kind of taking space in the mornings and allowing myself a little bit of a recap of what's to come of the day. And of course, like looking over my calendar. I mean, I have like a calendar on my phone, I have a calendar on my fridge, but I'm trying to kind of zone in a way that's maybe different than what the norm. Like, I don't necessarily enjoy the physicality of writing something down. It feels like a job. And so for me, doing it mentally makes more sense. So I don't know, maybe that's weird, but that has been really great. And I found that thinking about like that's something that I'm very grateful for, thinking about something that's upcoming that I'm grateful for, and being in a method of abundance, like where I'm imagining the things that I have and not focusing on the things that I want or what other people have that I would like, has been pretty wonderful, to be honest with you. And that has changed within the last 3 months. I've really been focusing on that. And it's very easy. I mean, my life I'm so blessed in so many ways. And it's really important to me to be living in that. But there are hardships in my life, and it's important to like have space for those things and move through them in a healthy way, not just push them down, and yeah, so that's been very interesting. And having that morning meditation, and it's not anything crazy. It's like, I literally just sit in my comfy chair with my coffee and just think, and I don't know what it does, but it's something cool. So I don't know, just giving myself maybe that space. I notice when life gets busy and I don't do that, I notice that. Like I noticed that I get in a weird space. And I noticed that leading up to when the kids were about to, like the week leading up to the kids getting out of school, I wasn't doing it because I was very busy. And I noticed like, oh, I'm not in a good headspace. And there was a lot going on, but still. It just has made a difference for me. So if you too do not enjoy like sitting down and journaling or doing it on an app or anything, if you enjoy a meditative journaling practice, join me mentally, because I don't know, maybe it's like a type B/C version, but yeah, I don't know. It's been really nice. Okay, the next thing was moving my body. So I have been slacking on the gym regimen for the last month, I would say, but I feel very good. We walked 22,000 steps yesterday. I was fine. I enjoy weightlifting. I enjoy rowing. I enjoy those kind of things. And when I get to the gym, I enjoy it, but I need to get back into practice with that. So that is a goal. I would like to go at least twice a week, at least be walking once a week even. So we're going to get back into that, big deals. And then eating, I would like to cut down a little bit of my sugar intake. I do notice that I get headaches when I have too much sugar. So I need to like cut down on that because the holidays were holidaying. And I, need to chillax on thinking I'm like 12 and can eat everything, because I can't. The next thing I wanted to chat about, now that we've kind of done a bit of a recap, I don't know if I covered everything I talked about last year, but let me know below if I missed something. What I wanted to chat about was what my focus is going to be at the beginning of 2026. And of course, that's going to be to attain and succeed at all the goals that I just mentioned. This year, we are going to continue on the inching towards debt-free. Do I think that my family is going to be debt-free by the end of 2026? No, I don't. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's going to happen for us. But what I do think is that we could inch towards that goal. All right. And so what I want to do is I want to be focusing on that journey with you guys. I feel like I can't be the only person that doesn't have we don't have like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, but we do have debt. And it does feel suffocating at times. And so I would love if I could surprise my husband this year with at least cutting 50% of it, like at least 50% of it. And I really think we could do it. I think we just need to be more intentional and more strict. And I'm talking to myself, okay? Because the problem with us is that we are yes parents. Like it is like, if my kids want to try a different passion, it's a yes. If they want to try another hobby, it's a yes. And I don't want to change that. Like I love that for my kids. I love that for us. I love that if my kids get a wild hair and want to try pottery, I'll figure it out and I'll get them in a pottery class. You know what I mean? I don't want to become a no parent, but I do want to be more intentional with the other things so that when we say yes to the things, it won't suffocate the debt fund. Does that make sense? I want to be more intentional. That means I want to have like no buy days. I want to have no buy weekends, maybe even no buy weeks. Does that include like groceries, you know, the things that you need? No, I don't mean that. I mean like the extra little things, the Amazon purchases, the, you know, going to the movies, going to, I don't know, random places, and going to TJ Maxx and buying $30. Like instead of that, move that $30 to a credit card, you know, or to our care credit from children's things that we've had to put on a care credit account. So full disclosure, I mean, that's just life. Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but it is expensive to have 3 kids in this world and like live. You know what I mean? And we have 2 wonderful paying jobs. We are so blessed beyond measure. I just would like to feel a little bit less suffocated by the debts. You know what I mean? And I feel like I am inching towards the world of like, my son is turning 13 next year, which means we're only 2 years, you know, 2 to 3 years away from like thinking about having to have a car for him. And I don't know, that's just how my brain works. Like, I'm like, okay, if I could save $100 a month, maybe we could buy him a car when he turns 16. And that's just reality. You really do have to be intentional with big purchases, with big things, and stuff comes up all the time. So anyways, with all that to be said, I just want to set myself up for success. So I don't know if I'm going to do the envelope method. I don't know if we're going to stick with, you know, the Excel spreadsheet and just put in all the things that we purchased. I feel like I want to go more hands-on and do the envelope. That's what we did earlier in our marriage. And I think I want to go back to that because I feel like having the Excel spreadsheet stresses me out. Like we can do that, but it's going to stress me out and I'm not going to do it because it stresses me out. So I'll keep you guys updated. Let me know below what you use to keep track of the things that your debt, you know, what do you do to pay off debt? What kind of method has worked for you? And yeah, let's just share. I mean, why not? You know, I mean, it's 2026. I feel like if you're not in debt, you're incredible. Like I literally feel like people that don't have debt should have a degree in like finance because it's incredible. Like, did you do it yourself? Because if you did, you deserve a degree in debt-free finance. Okay? Because it's hard. And I feel like things are always coming up that we need to, you know, rush and purchase or do. And it just feels like it gets to be a lot. This year, I'm going to be focusing on that. So come along on that journey. I feel like last year we did kind of the grocery hauls and the budgeting and all that. And I'm going to continue doing stuff like that. But I want to really harbor in home. I want to get my house all organized and functional and efficient and doing all of the things so that we can attain that goal. I feel like we've had this goal for years, for probably about 5 years, and we just are inching, and I want to get a little bit closer. So let me know below. You don't have to share your business, but are there methods that you have used that have been successful? Are there methods that weren't successful? Are you in the same situation that I'm in where you have all the intentionality, all the things, it's been hard, and even with trying to do a budget, doing all the things pop up, and I just want to get to a point where we're like, okay, I don't want to have to use this fund for the things. I want to have like another fund. Like I have a debt-free fund that is the things trickling into the debt, and then a fund for the things that come up like a broken arm or a broken leg or adenoids and tonsils removal or braces that we're gonna need, or, you know, those kind of things. So let me know, because I'm always interested, and I'm horrible at finance stuff. It's just not my forte. I am more of like, I hope it all works out type of person. And so this is hard. This is really hard for me. But I wanted to be completely transparent because that is what I'm going into 2026 with. That and just doing things that serve me and my family and make us feel at peace. And I feel like this will really help us to feel that way. I want to be in a position where, like, when my kids need a car, we're able to get them one and we don't have to like finance it. I'm hoping that when they go to college, we can pay for their college. You know, those are the goals I have. And, you know, in order to get there, I need to tackle this to become, so that those things become habitual, so that I'm not constantly in this cycle of retaining and gaining small debts so that we can function, because it's not fun, you know, but it does feel like it's normal. And so, yeah, anywho. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's a little recap of what 2025 was like maybe, and where I succeeded and failed, and what 2026 the focus is going to be. I'm keeping it very simple this year so that I can be successful. And come along if you are interested. Again, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Love your faces.